Well, look, let me tell you the number of things that worked against Mr. Clinton. So many, so many. One, it is very unusual. It is not in the DNA of the United States for one party to hold office for 3 terms. So, 2 terms of Obama, Democrat, and another term of another Democrat, very unusual.
So why are people so surprised in the US?
Well, this is it. This is, as an analyst, I was looking at this, and yet I still felt that Mr. Clinton was going to win. But these are the facts. Now when you look at it in retrospect, that's one. 2, America still has a lot of problems with women. That's a fact.
What do you mean problems?
Well, discrimination against women, because right now, a female makes less in corporate America for the same kind of job as a male. It still happens. There's still a lot of discrimination. That's 2. So I'm telling you the things that she had to overcome. And 3, Americans have an abhorrence for anything that looks like monarchy. You know, monarchy, kingship, succession. They don't like it at all. That's why they revolted against the British in 1776 for their independence. You know, anything to do with monarchy, so they don't want to see it.
How did the Bushes get it right?
Wait. Therefore, when Mr. Clinton has been president, now you have another, Mr. Clinton wants to be president. So some people, I'm telling you, the few things that could have actually affected them. You say the Bushes. You see, times change. And sometimes there are loopholes in the system. But the Bushes were, some people are, their own case, you know, the family is so ingrained in the system that, you know, maybe they were able to, and don't forget the unpopularity of Mr. Clinton. Don't forget that he was actually impeached by the Congress. And it was only saved by the Senate because for political expediency. But anyway, so that unpopularity has always been there too. For them now to want to succeed, this is a Clinton that barely made it out of the 2nd term. So all of these things, I think, affected. Then the economy. Clinton is not a business person.
So
whereas
they thought that Trump had the better business plan?
Well, the impression you get from the campaign, where you go to where the economy is down, people are unemployed, things are looking really bad, jobs are leaving the United States, and he comes with this program. He said, look, this woman is a career politician. She has never done any business to raise any money. All she knows is government money. Now, I am successful. I have done it myself, and this is very American. You know, when the man flies in with his own jet plane to go and campaign, and they see him, this is Trump Tower here, and I'm doing business in Russia, and I'm doing business all over the world, and I'm making it. This is what I would do for my country. People believed it. You know, that's what happened.
That businessman toga that you also alluded to, those who seem to have stretched it a little further, saying that, well, it could also mean that no freebies for a lot of people anywhere. If you have to do certain things or do business with America, you have to, of course, do it on merit, and you have to be sure of your game. So, by extension, what do you think this then means for, let's say, us now, Nigeria?
Well, you know, he has said that he is going to review a lot of the trade deals, and he's going to make sure that those trade deals work in the favor of America. He's used to doing trade deals which work in the favor of his companies. So he's going to apply the same criteria to the negotiations in trade deals for the United States of America. Personally, I got to tell you, I believe strongly in order, security, and diligence. And that really, if you want to make it, you have to be very strict. You have to be very hardworking. And what Trump is saying, in my opinion, is that things have to be legal and things have to work in our interest, in the interest of the United States. If Nigeria wants to succeed in its relationship, to benefit in its relationship with the United States, I think if we do the right thing and we work hard and we insist on what we have, we're going to do okay. Right. I think it's high time we realize that for us to make progress, we have to develop ourselves. And this is what I think we can get from what Trump is saying.
Mark,
well, just quickly, though, you've talked briefly about his speech. You said that right now he's getting a little more, we saw that in the acceptance speech, he was a little more conciliatory, trying to bind the wounds, as it were. I mean, he said it's time to bind the wounds from a very divisive election, as it were. But how do you think, how realistic is that? I mean, it's going to be very difficult to forget some of the campaign rhetoric and some of the things that were said during the campaign, don't you think so?
I think that, again, campaigns are just a lot of talk. You say things that people need to hear.
Isn't that why you win?
That's why you win. That's, you know, if you get it right. I think that, you know, Mr. Clinton already said she wants to work with him, right? If he will succeed, he will have to work with people. He cannot do it alone. Therefore, some of these things have to be reviewed and revised. He says he wants to build a wall to keep Mexicans out. You know, and I know, as he knows more than all of us, that is not going to happen. Because he said the Mexicans will pay for the wall. I mean, who will believe such a thing except during the euphoria of campaign? Now, the reality, he will revise it very soon. He will say, look, when I said that, I thought they were going to pay for the wall, but now they say they're not paying, so no more wall. So, you know, so I think that...
I'll give you a quick instance.
And when he said, the things he said about Mexicans...
I think okay, Mark, let's hear you.
When himself and Mrs. Clinton were debating one another, and she was speaking, I think, and then in the middle of that he goes, "What a nasty woman! And he says that over and over again. Then during the acceptance speech, he acknowledges that she spent her life in service of their country and that they owe her a debt of gratitude. Do you think that, for instance, it will be easy to get past some of the campaign rhetoric and then, begin to accept that
easy.
Maybe it was all the campaigns and it really doesn't matter or shouldn't matter? Is it going to be easy to really get past that?
It's not, well, maybe not easy, but it depends on the individual temperament. I believe that if you want to succeed, what Mr. Clinton called his supporters deplorable. So it goes both ways. How can you say the people are deplorable? The supporters of your opponent, who are also Americans like yourself. Therefore, all of that has to be left to the rhetoric of campaign. Nasty woman. Look, they were friends before, they're going to be friends again. Name calling doesn't really affect your policy, particularly if you want to succeed. And this is what we must learn from the United States campaigns. By the way, when people say this campaign was so nasty, you know what I think? People have very short memory about American campaigns. American campaigns are always bloody. Mr. Clinton and Obama...
Didn't see the commercials.
Pardon?
Many didn't see the commercials the way it usually goes, too.
Yeah.
So perhaps they just lost in that thought as well.
But Obama and Mr. Clinton, they were at each other's throat. I remember Dukakis and George Bush, the first, it was war. They were saying all sorts of things about each other.
I'm going to bring up
but
one
after
or two other things.
Once you're in government, things change.
In terms of what we may need to learn from the process. That'll be in just a moment. Don't go away. Dr. Pearse, I mean, we've seen that a lot depends on, let me say, our political system. If we get things right politically, I think development will just break through a lot of those walls.
Yeah.
But looking at the process, how the U.S. elections went, we saw early voting, and you still have, I think, is it a 3-day window or so to change your mind if you voted for one candidate and you want to vote for another. And then we've also seen that you don't have to close any border or shut down anything for elections to happen. We've also seen that even on the day of election, it's not a do or die. You don't need to kill anybody. Even on the day of election, people are campaigning and it's all peaceful. These are things that certainly some aspects that we could bring into our own system here. Can we do that?
This is what we want for ourselves here, but this is what we must do. As you said, the system, the structure must be in place. People say this election must have been rigged because nobody expected it. Most people did not expect Trump to win. In a country where you don't trust or where the electoral body is not trustworthy, nobody will accept that election result in America, right? Because most people did not think it would go that way. What you must do first and foremost, as they've done in the US, is to have an electoral system.
You mean we should have electoral college?
No. Listen, the body, board of election.
Oh, okay.
Like INEC. You know they have a board of election. Yeah. It is the board of elections level of trustworthiness that will determine the viability of the results. If people don't believe in the board of election, okay, if that process is not in place, where do you think they have coalition of results? In America. When we have our, first and foremost here, election day, INEC comes in to organize election. INEC does not participate in party primaries. You know that in Nigeria?
Except that they observe.
They just observe, which is a joke. The government, the state government in Nigeria has its own so-called independent electoral commission, which is controlled solely by the governor. That itself has nullified the process. The president in Nigeria appoints the chairman of INEC. Forget about INEC. I'm telling you now, we can never have any election in Nigeria that people will believe in. How can you believe in it? So all of that, we must study, find out how they do this. Let me tell you how they do it in the United States. In the first place, the state, each state, the structure of the government is that every state is virtually independent. And the state is not, the board of election in the state is made up of both people from both parties. So that while you are on the board, you settle your differences. You cannot cheat when I am there and you are there. It is not a question of one party coming to the state governor's party will always win here. That's what you do first and foremost. So the structure of election must be in place. And then the federal government does not interfere in state election and what happens in the state. There's nobody coming from Washington to come and watch state election in Florida. You understand?
Clearly,
so these are the things we must do first and foremost.
Well, there you go. So many things that we could also see how to improve our elections. We appreciate your comment on this morning, Dr. Adetokunbo Pearse. Well, that's the show today. We thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Oso.
Thank you. I'm Maupe Ogun.